Hi everyone, I'm going to do it. Autism Mondays. It's no going. I can love it. Right, so today I'm going to actually change the way I do my videos this week, and it's not going to be as much. I'm still going to make fun of myself, but I'm wanting to be a little bit more positive about autism and speak about the good things about autism. I think my wife made a very good point that if I was to leave my job as a store manager, if somebody was to do a little Google search and find my autism videos, I wouldn't be very employable. It'd be somebody that goes about kicking old grannies and throwing bricks at people, slagging people. You just wouldn't really want me to be in your work environment. But look, it's a comedic thing that I put that in for. I don't go about kicking people. I don't go about throwing bricks at people. I don't go and slag every person that I meet. Once I get to know you, I can rip into you. But look, I'm high functioning. So I'm going to speak about employment today and the reasons why, if you're an employer, you should employ an autistic person. Sometimes high functioning autism can be really good in a workplace. So I'm going to speak about the scenarios where maybe you shouldn't employ somebody with high functioning autism in the places where you actually should. Let's start off with a few things for me. I'm going to use me as an example. Now, I'm not going to speak about, now again, for parents that are watching that might have kids that they think might be on the autism spectrum or might be autistic. I don't want to give you guys false hope. I'm speaking from a highly functioning point of view. I'm a store manager. I'm high functioning autism, right? See my other videos and you'll kind of see the things where I struggle day to day outside of work, but I'm high functioning, so I can put a hat on and I can switch it on and off. But if I was to do that all day, every day, people would say, well, why don't you just do that all the time? Just switch off your autism. It's not like that. It's mentally straining. That's normally why I have a day at work. I come back and I'm fucking grumpy. I didn't want to speak to anybody. I'm fucking swearing. I'm like, because a lot of people will go, you swear quite a lot in your videos. Why would I want to employ you? I don't do that. I can switch it on and off. It's just, honestly, if I was to switch off kind of my Asperger's and my autism, look, I would be fucking shattered. I'd be mentally stressed. You just need that release. So think of it like sometimes like Tourette's syndrome. You can't keep it in. And you see when people keep their tics in, it's like it makes them ill. It would make me ill. So in work, I can do it because I'm high functioning. Low functioning people can't. So if you've got like a low functioning autistic child, you've got to be realistic and you've got to think kind of out the box and maybe kind of go and speak to other people. You know, just because I've got autism doesn't mean to say that, yeah, like your child might be great at this, and you go, well, because Paul Third is a store manager, then like you could be a store manager. You've got to be realistic. Go and speak to therapists. Go and give your child the support that they need. It's all about the support. Low functioning and high functioning is two different things. Just always remember that. I'm not saying that your child's got no hope. Just to fucking like give them up for adoption. Just be like fucking autistic, like walking out the door. Right? I'm not saying that. It's just there's low functioning and high functioning. There is a difference. There is a reason why there's low functioning and high functioning. So why should you employ a high functioning autistic person? Let's generalise it with me. So where would you not employ me? Right? Where would you not employ this autistic man? Any place where there is a duty of care, i.e. a hospital, or care, i.e. like caring for people, like working in a care home. So you wouldn't have put me in a hospital, you wouldn't have put me in a care home, and you definitely wouldn't make me a lifeguard. Why you wouldn't put me in a situation where I have to care for somebody would be because I have no empathy. I do have empathy, but it's mostly for dogs, because I love dogs. So I have loads of empathy for dogs. See if I see a cat and it's dying, fucking whatever. See, like if a dog's got like a cough, I'm like, fucking dog, let's get it Calpol or something. Like fucking take the dog in. I've got a fucking phone. I'm like, oh, there's a dog with a cough. Fucking, my heart's breaking. For people, I don't really have a lot of empathy. So if my wife's sick or my kids are sick, I just like fucking go to your bed. Fucking shut up, stop whining. A lot of people on the spectrum struggle with empathy. So if you don't have empathy, you wouldn't really put you in a situation where you've got to be empathetic. So for example, if I was working in a hospital, because if I was a doctor, I'd be like, hey, well, you've got cancer, you've got about fucking 2 weeks to live, fucking, right? So It is what it is. It is what it is. I've not got that empathetic side to go, well, I'm really sorry, but I hate to break this to you. You got cancer, right? Fucking shouldn't have smoked, right? Fucking your fault. You've basically killed yourself because you were a 40-a-day smoker. You are now have to go through the whole scenario of your family now picking out your suit for your funeral, picking out your casket. I hope you've got insurance. Your fault, black and white. So you wouldn't have put me as a doctor, you wouldn't have put me as a nurse because of my ADD. So I get distracted quite a lot, so I'd probably can give you the wrong medication, be like, right, okay, right, so we've got Paul, so we've got these 3 different tablets for Mr. Kennedy. Right, okay, right, okay, what's that? Oh, what did you say? Right, okay, 3 pills of that. Would you get 5 pills? Okay, 1 pill. Whatever, right. Fucking down the hatchet. Fucking boys did. Paul, you killed Mr. Kennedy. Alright, fucking whatever. It's not got to do with me. So they're kind of being bad. So you definitely wouldn't have put somebody in a position like me where it involves really, 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 really important things that require lots of focus. Because focus is a big thing for people on the autism spectrum. So focus. So things that you've really got to focus hard on and where you really can't make mistakes. Because autistic people we're going to make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, but especially in places like that, but it involves medication, tablets. You can't be distracted. Now, probably where would the worst thing in the care side of things, so where would probably be the worst place that you could put me caring for people would be a lifeguard, right? You would never ever make me a lifeguard. One, because I'm easily distracted, so I'd probably, somebody'd be drowning and I'd fucking be over there watching a dog, like, oh, that dog and it's got a wee burst paw, oh my god, some fucking 4-year-old's drowning, I'm like, fucking, I'm jumping, I'm like, I'll be ready, dog's like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, dog, I can put a bandage around it and some 4-year-olds fucking drowning. So like I get distracted. Number 2, I hate water. I've got a sensory thing where I hate being wet. So if I didn't get distracted and I did see a 4-year-old drowning, depending on where I was that day, if I felt it's a nice sunny day, fucking I've got a certain pair of socks on, I'm feeling nice and dry, just be like, nah, fucking, you're drowning, you're dying, fucking whatever, fucking, I'm not doing it. Kind of like, imagine putting me like in a swimming scenario, kind of like 4-year-olds drowning, and I'm like, didn't see it. Oh, help me. I didn't want to get wet, fucking whatever, boof, did, right. Care is a thing where I would probably say for me, you wouldn't put me in care and I wouldn't employ for someone with care. So again, a teacher, I wouldn't be a teacher either because I've not got any patience for children. So I'm not no, I love my kids, but I've not got patience for them. There's no empathy. Like my daughter Madsen, right? I love her to pieces, but she's so annoying, right? I mean annoying to the point where she's so over emotional about everything. I've done her 3 the wrong way around, and I'm like, fucking do your 3 the right way around. I just don't know how. What do you mean you don't know how? What do you mean you don't know how? You've done your... And I get really frustrated with her, right? So she'll draw her 3 the wrong way around, right? So she'll do 6 minus 3, right? 3. She'll go 8 minus 5, 3. She'll write it the right way around, right? She's got one that's the wrong way around, one that's the right way around, and I'm like, fucking what? Fuck, does that make sense? It's like, I don't know how. Fucking don't know how. You just did it right there. And I get dead frustrated. Honestly. Say if I had like a primary school teacher, like fucking 20 kids. It's hard enough having 2 kids in my house. You know, 25 kids all fucking snotting around each other, booting tables, booting each other, fucking they're thick as shit. I'm like, fucking, he's know how to wash. I'm speaking to the parents like, yeah, I can get your son, right? Fucking, he's stinking, right? You gotta get him washed, right? I'm like, fucking him, fucking parents night. Imagine me at parents night. Fucking, like, yeah, so your son, he's fucking thick as shit, right? Fucking hell. Honestly, fucking, you're going to stick him in the foundie class, right? Fucking, he's a downer. I don't have the patience, I don't have the empathy. So, if they're thick as shit, I'm going to shout at them. If they fall and bump them, I'm just going to like, fuck, see when my kids fall, I get dead angry. Because I'm just like, fucking told you. I've told you about 1,000,000 times. Didn't stand on that ledge. Again, most parents would be like, right, See, you see them stand on the ledge, get them off the ledge. I watch them on the ledge and then they fall, and then I shout at them. Okay, there's an experience for you, right? I can tell you not to stand on that fucking high brick wall, right? Tell you, right? Tell you not to stand on that. They fall and they bump their knee and they scrape it. I'm like, I can go up, now, go up. Tell you not to fall, your fault. It's your fault I'm angry. Miss parents would be like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, I can go up now, go up. Fucking idiot, go up now. Right, tell you, stop standing on that ledge. I can tell you, stop playing with those knives. I tell you, right, stop trying to make fucking tea for yourself, right? Again it's 9 o'clock at night, right, and again you're starving. I'll make it when I'm ready, right? No, I didn't let my kids play with knives and shit. I fucking know that bad, right? So you wouldn't put me in care of children, right? You wouldn't, right? And again, it's because of the empathy thing, right? Now, see when I say you wouldn't put us in care of children, right? See if my wife died, right? I would be able to do it, right? I do have the kids on my own, right? It's not like they walk in, Laura comes home from work and they're shit up the walls. Fucking the bairns haven't been fed. They do get fed, right? The times that they get fed's probably sporadic. Can had their lunch, their tea and their breakfast at 6 o'clock and that, right? But no, right, so I can take the kids on my own, but I do get frustrated with them. I'm very short, I'm impatient. I've never hit them. I didn't hit my kids. I didn't believe in that. I do shout at them. I do shout at them quite a lot. So I do get quite short and impatient. But again, you wouldn't have put somebody with like me in autism with Asperger's in charge and care of people, especially in charge of elderly, where they can like shit their cell and they're like, oh, I've got a bad back. Oh no, I've not had my tablets, son. Oh, I've shit myself. I'd be like, oh, you better go and get that cleaned up then. It's no fucking touching it. Fucking disgusting. Right, you should ken better. Right, so where would autism be good? Right, so for employers out there and for parents that have maybe their children or their child, they think maybe on the autism spectrum, there is hope, because I'm going to tell you certain places that it could actually really, really, really benefit you, like me. So, for example, 5 years in retail, started off at part-time sales, right? Part-time sales, full-time sales, senior sales, assistant manager, and then store manager in the space of 5 years. Now, again, Asperger's, it depends on your Asperger's. I'm high functioning, so I could still function with people. I could still speak to people. So the reason why retail could be really good in sales, right? So I'd say retail sales, those both environments could be really good. Want me to tell you the reason why? Is because the way that autism works with a lot of people is we become focused, very, 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 very focused, and we need to know everything about that industry. So for example, right, I'm going to tell you where I work just now for certain reasons, but I can tell you about my previous employer. So where I started off was at Tops Tiles. So I started off at Tops Tiles as a part-time sales. Tops Tiles, for example, was great. Why? Because I had to know, we were tile specialists, so it was geeky, right? Geeky things are great for autistic people because it means we can find out about stuff because it's black and white and we get to know all about that specific subject. Honestly, I knew basically everything. I ended up getting put in charge of like trade in the Dundee shop, and it was like, I knew, like, tilers would come to me and I knew everything. I was like, sometimes like they didn't like it. I was like, I've been tiling for 20 years, and I'm like, well, what about this and what about that? I mean, I never thought about that. Am I, using that because of that? And I peeled stuff back, and I was like finding out about stuff. I was making documents for the rest of in Scotland, and it was a thing. Fuck, the sales of that's went up by that, and the sales are fucking up like that. We've never sold that. How is he selling that and you're not selling that? Because I knew everything about the product, and I was able to look at stuff and go, I was just a geek. I was a tile geek. I was just going, right, well, what about this and that? And what about that and that? And another thing is, like, I've always said in my videos, I'm a creepy watcher, right? I'm an observer. That's what I do. I observe people and then I kind of adapt to what I've seen. So, for example, right, you put me in a sales environment. The reason I go quite quick and I work and I start selling quite quick is because I watch what works well for other people. It's just, and I carbon copy it and I adapt it to myself. So I'll just go, right, that worked well, that worked well, that worked well, that worked well. I'll try that out because it's black and white. And if it doesn't work, I don't do it. Again, didn't work, right, I'll try this. And I get to a point where, because we're all about routine, it gets to a point where I do the exact same thing with customers every time. And what do most retail places have? A customer journey. So you're going to have somebody that's autistic that's going to follow your journey to a T, an absolute T. That's what's great about employing an autistic person, is that it's black and white. They will not only follow your procedures, but they'll also follow your sales journey, and they'll find out everything they need to know about the project, because that's what it is. What's great about autistic people is again, social cues. So you go, but Paul, you've got in your videos that you don't like social cues. That would worry me. Would it really? Want me to tell you something about social cues, right? Want me to tell you the reason why my sales are always been so good as a salesperson? Because I control the conversation. You come into my shop, I tell you what you need to know. Regardless if you don't care, I'm going to tell you about what you need to know. And guess what? You walk out there going, I never knew that, and I never this, and I never do that. If you just think about that, right? Just think about having somebody that's 1, focused on your business, 2, can follow the black and white procedures, and 3, is going to follow your customer journey, and your customers are going to walk away with the information that they need. And again, think about it. So you go, but you won't want to speak to people because you've got Asperger's. Guess what we like to do? We like to speak about stuff that we're interested in. That's what a lot of Asperger's is. We speak at you about stuff that we're interested in. So if that person then becomes interested in their job, which is me, and I know everything about it, I'm interested in my job. So the problem is when you're outside of work, I can tell everybody about tiles and carpets, and you don't want to know about it, but I'll tell you about it. But in a work scenario, that's brilliant, because I want to speak to you about the things that I know. I want to educate you because it interests me, and in that environment, that's great. So when you used to walk away from me and Tops Tiles, you walked away with stuff about fucking like cement boards, tanking, the reasons why you need to buy that certain type of adhesive, the reason why you need to go for that certain type of tile, sizes, what's going to work well in that room, colour. I would do everything. I would run through everything for you, and I'd follow the company's journey to a T. So guess what? Mr. Autistic over here, right? And I want to just use this to prove the reason why you should employ an autistic person. Tops Tiles in Scotland. I didn't find this out till I was an assistant manager, right? At one point in Tops Tiles, Mr. Autistic had the most quotes in the company. Most quotes in the company. Now, think about it. Mr. Asperger's hates speaking to people. Most quotes in the company. Why? Because I fucking followed the journey, and know what? Because I was able. So again, you say to me, Paul, and that's what I need you to do. Okay, it's black and white. Paul, I need you to get, Paul, right, we need to start getting quotes with every customer. Alright, okay, give us a target then. That's your target, there's your black and white. Boof. If you've got somebody in your line of work and you're having to employ somebody that's got ADD, guess what? They're going to be really focused, and it's about how you get their focus. So if you can get their focus on something that they're interested in, honestly, some autistic people could be the best salespeople in the fucking world, right? So then think about management, right? You'd go, Paul, how could you manage people? How could you be somebody that's actually in charge of other people? Well, let me tell you the reason why I'm a manager. It's because I lead by example. So when I tell them to do something, that's the way I do it. And that's the way you've got to be as a manager, which would be quite good as an autistic person, because we follow black and white. So you've got a manager that follows black and white. The gaffer's doing the black and white. So guess what? I've got to do the black and white. You get some managers out there that kind of go, well, I'm the manager, I do what I want. Doesn't work with an autistic person, because no, we'll have to do it by the black and white. That's the way we have to do it. So I'll clean the warehouse. So again, I do a lot of the warehouse in my job. Just part of it, I just have to do it. So I have to do the warehouse. I have to do sales. If you have the right structure, my problem is sometimes I don't have the right structure and routine. It's quite difficult, dependent on where you are. So I've struggled a little bit in recent times about trying to manage the amount of workload that I've had. And even people that I worked with in the past have came up to me and said, you know, Paul, the reason I used to work for you, Paul, and no work for other people, was because I believed in you and you believed in us. And because the thing is with me, and this is good about autism and management, is, see, once you do something once, I'm going to expect that from you all the time. Why? Because it's black and white. Like, I'm a manager and you hit the sales target, right? You hit that sales target. If you didn't hit it for the next 3 months, I'm going to ask you why. I'm going to be like, right, I expect that of you, and it's not. And imagine having somebody that's like, but you can do it. But you can do it. You've hit it. You're great. You've done that, and I expect that from you. And sometimes it's that little kick in the backside that people go, "Wow, this guy really believes in me." He's like, when really I'm just kind of like, well, no, it's black and white. You've done it once, so how could you not do it again? Again, it's the thing where people would go, you couldn't have an autistic person managing people. Of course you can, as long as a company, your policies, procedures, and your guidelines are black and white, and you're concise with what you want that person to do, then they will give you that back. They will give you that 100% back. If you overload them, then yes, it can be difficult. When I get overloaded, it's quite difficult. But instead of actually just sometimes going, well, know what, I'm really struggling with that. I'm spinning too many plates. You need to get somebody else to help me spin that plate. I'll try and spin all the plates because I'm like so literal. I'm like, no, you asked me to do that. So if you're asking me to spin all these plates, then I have to spin these plates. And sometimes I don't actually go, well, actually, no, these are too many plates for me to spin. I'm struggling. And that's maybe a downside that would do too much, which work-life balance is quite difficult. If you're in a relationship, your job can consume you. It consumes me. My wife is a star, and she knows that I struggle to switch off. She knows that there's times where it's like, right, babe, I'm going to be late tonight. Sorry. Customers came in. Oh, I got kept behind in that. Needs done. Where's everybody else? I sent them home. Why did you send them home? No, they get paid. They get paid this amount to do their job. I get paid more than anybody else. It's my job as a manager. So I'm going to stay back. I'm going to do this. This has happened, this has came up, I need to do that. Why have you got to do that? No, I'm the store manager. So work-life balance could be quite difficult, and you will find that with a lot of autistic people, we will work hardest for you. I'm not joking you. It's what makes me who I am, and that's what you find with autistic people. Sometimes, because it gives autistic people a purpose, the job becomes the most important thing. So it means that you're always going to be there on time. It means you're always going to try and be the best person you could be. And you can find that they're the most consistent people. And you can go, well, what about confrontation? How could you be in sales if you don't like confrontation, Paul? And there's black and white for that. What happens if something happens? That's what companies are for. There's your black and white. I know how to deal with it. So, and that's the thing. People might watch my videos and go, no way could he be like a good salesperson. No way could he be a good manager. I can, because there's black and white there, and I stick to the black and white. And sometimes that's the best people to employ, are the people that give you that consistency. There's downsides to autism, yes, but there's downsides to everybody. But at least with an autism, you know what you're getting. So if you employ me, you know, right, I've got these good points, but I've also got these bad points maybe that I need to help manage. But guess what? In my opinion, the good outweighs the bad, because that's the reason that I went from part-time sales all the way to a store manager. I mean, I didn't get employed as a store manager so young because I didn't show any potential. I'm still in my job because I show potential, and I don't ever try and I don't ever stop trying to fulfill that potential. I work hard, very, very hard, sometimes too hard, but that's me. My job is me, it consumes me. If you were to say, if employers were to say anything about me now, you go, what would you say about Paul? I went, one thing would probably be sometimes he works a little too hard, he gives a little too much, and sometimes he cares a little too much. Sometimes he just needs to take a step back and just be like, enjoy your life, Paul. You know, people will be like to me, like, Paul, work isn't everything. And for autistic people, sometimes it is everything because it gives us a purpose. It's that one element in our life where we can control. We're good at it. Sometimes it's that time in life where your job's the only thing that you actually feel that you're good at, because outside of work, there's no rules. Everything's out the loop. It's like a lot of autistic people like retail. Why? Because you can speak to people and you know how to speak to them, you know the manner to speak to them, you know what they're looking for, you know the journey you have to follow, you know what to say, and for that one time in your life, you might actually feel like, you know what, I'm fucking really good, you know what I mean? It's like, for that one time in your life, they might actually feel that I'm really social because you're in my environment, and that could be really uplifting for somebody with autism. So, to wrap up, it's been a long video, but I really wanted to speak about the importance of employing an autistic person, and how good that could be and how much you could get out of that person if you manage them correctly. It's just like anybody else. Everybody has certain things that they need, improvements that they need, development needs that they might have. But it could be a really good thing. So yeah, if I do ever lose my job, don't employ me as a teacher, don't employ me as a doctor, and especially don't employ me as a lifeguard, because you will have dead children on your doorstep. But look, there it is, right? So thank you very much, guys, for watching. Again, next Monday, Autism Mondays, I'm kind of going to go into what I'm going to do next week. I don't think I've decided what I'm going to do next week. I've got a few ideas, but I think next week I'll kind of go back to doing a wee bit more funny videos. So hopefully that's been good and it's been educational for you guys. And for the parents watching, hopefully that's been a little bit inspirational for you to think, know what, it's good that my child has high functioning autism, and know what, it's all about how you get the best out of your child. So thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you again next Monday.